Hello, my beautiful alien. Greetings. 'Tis the season of cheer and reflection. Happy holidays, whatever holiday you're celebrating on this fine December. Whoa, hold on. Hey guys, I am back. I got distracted with a phone call and I kind of had to pick up. But hey, I am here. I don't remember what I was saying last, but I think I was saying happy holidays and thank you for tuning in. In today's episode, I'm going to be doing a very reflective episode. I did a similar one last year, but in last year's 2022 Let's Talk About It episode, I kind of did 10 lessons I learned throughout the year. I don't know if it was 10 or like a bunch of episodes I learned throughout the year. This year, I'm switching it up slightly and I found a way that I think is going to stick. So for next year's episode, it's kind of going to be like this one. I'm excited. My creative juices were flowing for this one. In this episode, I'm going to be reflecting on each month of the year. And how I did this was I journal a lot. If you are an avid listener, you know this. And what I would do is I actually have a whole episode on journaling. And there's different ways to do this. I'm going to link it down below. But the way that I found sticks and works for me is I take my notes app or like Notion. Shout out Notion, sponsorship coming soon. This is not an ad, I'm just saying. And I would create toggle systems for each month. So January, I would do January, and I'd write all the dates of January from the 1st to the 31st. And then under each like number or day, I would write down things about the day that I would want to remember, whether it's something that made me anxious or nervous, something I was excited about, something that I need to unpack, or something nice that happened during that day. And then under all these dates at the top of all these dates, I have another toggle where I write down what I'm grateful for each day. And I did that until October, I believe, or August. And then I kind of got distracted and didn't do that because as you'll see, as I reflect on each month, you'll see why. But that's the idea. And then the other thing I did is I skimmed through all my photos, which I just mentioned. And I looked because this year I took so many photos. The amount of photos I have on my phone is kind of insane. It's about 36,000. My phone is malfunctioning and I have an iPhone 8 as of today, which is crazy. But I didn't even mention the date or the time. I always do this before I start the episode. It's currently the 26th of December, 1:28 p.m. I know, it's the afternoon, madness. And I said that if you're new here because I usually record at night. But I'm fixing my sleep schedule. It's one of my resolutions. It's Boxing Day. I woke up feeling extremely grateful today. I had a wonderful night. I had a wonderful, wonderful rest. I think it's been a minute since I felt that good at night. I don't know. It feels good, or in the morning, should I say. I was productive. I cleaned the house, opened the windows, went to the shop, got some groceries, came back, and had a fun day. Checked in on my loved ones. Had a shower in the morning. I usually do that at night. But yeah, that was fun and interesting. Ooh, an exciting thing that happened yesterday. Christmas, it was on the 24th of December, Christmas Eve. I had an interesting phone call with one of my uncles. My mother has two brothers. And one uncle, I called him up to check in on him because I missed him. And he's really into his fitness. I've always wanted to have him on the podcast, but it was in the works getting him on here. And I finally made a deal with him that we set a fitness goal for me. And if I hit this fitness goal next year, we're going to have an episode with him on. So next December, be expecting him on the podcast. That's a future guest I have locked in because fitness goals are very challenging, whether it's wanting to gain weight or muscle, lose weight or muscle. It's all different for different people. And our bodies react differently. Our bodies have... Oh my goodness, there's a beautiful bird that just popped onto the tree outside. It's gorgeous. Let me take a picture and I will upload this on the podcast Instagram page. You need to go follow me, by the way. I upload there often. Anyway, as I was saying, fitness is very different for different people, and we set a fitness goal that is a priority for me, and it's something I have been working on since I was 17, the past 5-6 years, but I'm going to hone in on it now. So yeah, enough about that. That was an exciting update, but let's dive in. All right, my lovely humans, I am gonna kick it off with January. I'm gonna go with what I was grateful for and then dive into the photos. So, looking at what I was grateful for January, I noticed it was a very family-focused month. I started looking at the moon with one of my brothers, the fourth one in the family. He was 5 in January. He's currently 6 years old, but it was really amazing going outside every night and seeing the moon, and him seeing the different phases and shapes of the moon. Some nights the moon was there, some nights the moon wasn't there. I think it was really fun for him and grounding and exciting, something different that he hadn't done before. And I love the moon and nature, so that was fun. Another thing that I really loved in January, or something I was grateful for, is we had a moment where my mom, and by the way, I'm the only girl in the family, so my mom encouraged me and my brothers, who are 4 of them, but the youngest one is really young, to go wash the car. And we had a very fun time doing that. At the end of it, we kind of poured water on each other. And it's a fun memory looking back. Another fun memory I had for January was bonding with my cousins. I have so many cousins who are younger than me. I'm literally the second grandchild. But being with them, being with kids, their raw, bubbly, childish energy is so refreshing. It just allows me to be in the moment. So that was fun. Another thing I was grateful for in January was I had a lot of sushi moments. I think I had sushi 3 times in January this year. And there's an amazing place in Nairobi, Kenya, that has delicious sushi. If you're in Nairobi and you're listening to this, hit me up on Instagram or my email. I will let you know. It's delicious and amazing. And then in January, I also wrote my first song for the year. And it was so cohesive, and I got the melody down, and it was really interesting. I loved that. January, I also had the first guest of the podcast, and funnily enough, that episode, I believe it's episode 27 with my friend Nafahad, she was the most listened to episode this year. On my Spotify Wrapped, that episode was listened to times 170% more than other episodes. Just too deeply for you guys, how much you loved it. And the last thing that I was grateful for during this January time is I was fortunate enough and lucky to treat a few of my family members and friends, loved ones, should I say, to food and the cinema. So this was pretty cool. I love that. That's the things I was grateful for January. And then moving on to pictures. Exciting. Okay. I believe 1st or 2nd of January, I went to a friend's house and I saw this amazing cat, and I named him Diego with my friend's younger sister. This cat is the most beautiful cat I've ever seen. I'm not gonna lie. I have the cat up on my Instagram. I'm gonna post it on the podcast Instagram so you guys can have a look. I also went on so many walks in January, and I took so many pics of nature, whether it was the moon, whether it was the sunset, all these different nature pics that I loved, whether it was the sky. The sky was skying. I know that's not a word, but the sky was just gorgeous in January. I loved it. I was also bonding with my younger brothers and cousins, like I mentioned. And then the sushi. That's a nickname that popped up on my Instagram because I kept posting sushi content. And I also found my fashion sense in January. I mean, this year was one of the years where my fashion sense solidified, and I'm so humbled and grateful for that, because it's been a minute figuring out how to dress modestly, yet finding a style I'm comfortable with. But I found my groove, and I know what kind of things look good with my body and what I like and what makes me feel sexy. So yeah, that was fun. And then there's a thrift shop in Kenya, Nairobi, that I found again. Maybe I should do like an episode of fun things to do in Nairobi. But yeah, that was an awesome place. I introduced a friend and my aunt to this place and they loved it. They bring clothes from different places around the world. Damn, this bird is birding right now, hopping on different trees and just vibing. It's cool. All right, guys. What else did I do in January? I watched Outer Banks for the first time. It was an interesting episode. I loved it. It's been a minute since I watched a show that captivated me in that way. Okay, I won't lie. I'm currently watching Bosch, but Bosch is very police-based and you know the vibes. Outer Banks, however, it had the teen angst. It had new elements to it that I haven't seen before. So that was pretty fun. I got a new phone in January for storage. It was 128 GB. And I remember telling my uncle, this will not be enough. My other uncle. By the way, they're twins. The uncle I mentioned in the beginning, who's into fitness, and then this uncle. And he was like, there's no way you're going to fill up 102 GB. And I was like, no, I literally need 600 or like 1,000 and something, if that even exists. And true to my word, my photos filled up pretty quickly. At the moment, my mom has this phone and she loves it. She doesn't take as many pictures as I do, but it was an amazing phone. I think it was a Redmi, and I loved it. So I had two phones. I was like, how do people walk around with two phones? I cannot do this for the life of me. All right. Another thing I was so grateful for is I caught up with a friend from high school I haven't seen in years, and this was fun. And then I mentioned the song that I wrote down. I took a picture of that. I also went go-karting, and this year or last year, I believe, I have noticed how much I love go-karting. It's kind of crazy. My dad was like, maybe this is a lost passion of yours that you need to look into, because I am good, and I'm not even kidding. I say this a lot, but next year I am going to be focusing on go-karting more, so that is exciting. And then I ended the month surprising my grandmother in my hometown, Kericho in Kenya. Now let's move on to February. February 2023 was an interesting month in my hometown. I loved it. So as I said, I started the month going to my hometown, Kericho. On my way there, on the bus, I sat next to a woman who, insanely enough, knew my grandmother, my grandfather, may God rest his soul, my dad's mum, and sister and brother. Isn't that insane? Like, how do you know that many people? And then to top it all off, she ended up being one of my classmates in primary's aunt. Excuse me? That's too many connections. So I was like, wow, this is crazy. I actually posted it on the Instagram page for the podcast because it was too many synchronicities and insanity to me. But that was pretty cool. And then my youngest brother, who I like to call as my firstborn nowadays, I told my mom and dad, he is my firstborn, okay? I love him to bits. He was engaged with my grandmother. My grandmother took him there and was really showing him that grandmotherly love, trying to get him to walk, massaging his legs. He is 2 years old, and that was pretty fun. I love him to bits. And then it was also a very fun time with my grandmother because we bonded over cooking and tailoring. My grandmother is so good at making things, and she was making a curtain for one of her tenants, and I helped her out with that, which was pretty fun. And I did so many face masks, traditional face masks. In February, it's kind of insane. I mean, my skin was on fleek. Whenever my grandmother sees even any kind of acne on my face, and I am a very acne prone person because I have oily skin, she kind of goes feral. So that was interesting. I found my grandfather's vintage camera. This was crazy. I found 2 of them, and one of my aunts took one, and I was like, seriously, you're just going to use it in your house for decoration? I want to actually vlog and do things with this camera. But it's fine, we're going to share it. And then the other thing was I started creating reels for the podcast, which is funny because I plan on doing that more, but I'm taking it up a notch this time. So therefore, check out my Instagram and YouTube. There's going to be fun stuff and reels coming along. This is the month I also learned how to drive manually. I freaking loved it. I think, yeah, this year was a very driving focused year because the vibes were vibing with driving. I also watched Breaking Bad with my uncle, the one who I talked about with the phone, for the first time. And for some insane reason, I couldn't get into it like how other people do. I don't know whether it's because I've watched so many different types of TV shows, I could kind of predict and see where they were going. Or I was just not in the mindset because I was watching This Is Us at the time. And This Is Us and Breaking Bad are not in the same universe. It's completely different multiverses, if that's even a word or a term. But yeah, that was pretty fun. And my aunt surprised grandmother. I was in on the surprise. I just didn't know she was going to come to Kericho at the time. And then I had an unforgettable night, which goes down as the craziest night of my life in February. I will never forget. I was speaking to my cousin the other day and we were like, this goes down in the family history. Like insane things that happened to us in our youth or like time as being alive in this life of ours. And then the season finale of This Is Us, which I just mentioned, I cried my heart out. Are you kidding me? We need that show back. Like, why would you end it? It doesn't make sense. Make it make sense. And if you haven't watched This Is Us and you're listening to this, what the fuck are you doing? You need to go listen to This Is Us. Okay. That is enough about photos that happened this month. I'm going to go into things I was grateful for. So I was grateful for being in my childhood town. There were so many memories, bonding with my grandmother, my youngest brother, as I like to call him, my firstborn. I had learned how to drive manual cars, which is something I've always wanted to do. I am grateful I got to bond with my uncle. It's just amazing. We spent 3 weeks vibing and watching Breaking Bad and cooking and chilling, and he's an amazing chef. What? Whoever I marry has to know how to cook. Don't get me wrong, I love cooking, but once in a while you have to make me some delicious foods. There's something attractive about men who know how to cook. Anyway, complete side note that was. Yeah, being in my childhood town as an adult was very fascinating. Bumping into friends, recognizing things that I didn't notice as when I was young. It's just nostalgic. The idea of being home, like this is my hometown. Are you kidding me? And it's changed so much over the years. It's like a whole ass town. There's a coffee, what do you call it? Coffee, not train. There's a coffee store a coffee shop known as Java in Kenya. And you find this in Nairobi, the capital, Mombasa, like different cities. But I've never seen it in Kericho. I hadn't been there in 3 years. Bear in mind, but this coffee shop was in Kericho. And I was like, damn, it's advanced. Like a few years ago, this town was it had 2 roads that were not fully formed, and now it is a 4-lane road. That's just how advanced it's become. Anyway, I also really loved the smell that lingered in the air after it rained. Lord have mercy. That was amazing. March 2023 was another interesting month. I bumped into someone who said I was their first love. This was a really interesting experience. Story for another day. But we have an amazing bond, me and this person right now. And I'm just grateful for the moment we have and who he is as a person and our relationship as friends right now. He's a very insightful human being. And shout out to you if you're listening. I doubt it. You said you'll only listen to the podcast if there's video. So, hey, I guess you're never going to hear this. And then I spent most of my March in Kericho, came back to Nairobi, and I aired my first guest episode 27, and you all loved her. Insane. Thank you for the love. And then I also visited my grandfather's grave in February, and I hadn't done that since 2021. I visited the grave in 2021 with my mom when she was pregnant. And then 2023 was the second time I visited it. And I was like, I need to come visit this grave more often and, water the plants and just remember my grandfather because I loved him so much. I was actually telling my mom the other day, I was like, I am not getting married until I meet someone like Grandpa. Because, sorry, where are the men like him? We need more men like that in this lifetime. Men who are very And don't get me wrong, people are, look at me talking about relationships. What is it? It's a theme, okay? There's just been a lot of relationshipy things happening. But like I said, I think I'll just finish this point and then keep moving. It was very interesting to me how I just love, okay, as I said, don't get me wrong, it's very, no human being is perfect, man or woman. And I think being in a relationship takes compromise and yada, yada, yada. But I just think when I think of my grandfather, I think of somebody who is very, when they say something, they mean it. So the word is important to them. I think their actions, their intentions, who they are as a person, very wholesome, very grateful, very religious, very, I don't know. I just, yeah, I could go on and on and on about this, but I think just finding someone who's very self-aware, very honest, very humble, very fun. Yeah, I think I'll end it there. More on that later. And then there was another cat that I really loved. It was a neighborhood cat. My younger cousin named her Mwembe, but her actual name is Scar. And this cat was obsessed with me. And then I would feed this cat. And then one day, the owner of the cat came over, and one of my brothers came running to me, like, "You're in trouble. The owner of the cat has come for their cat, and no one in my household likes cats for various reasons." And I'm like, "Listen, religiously, we're told to love cats. There's nothing you can tell me." If it was my own place, if I was staying in Kenya for long, I would most definitely adopt that cat, and they would like it. They would have to deal with it one way or another. So the owner of this cat came over and was like, "Hey, do you want to have this cat?" And I was like, "I would love to, but I'm traveling soon, and I know in my heart no one is going to love for this cat like how I would." But yeah, that was sad. I missed this cat like crazy. And then I also posted so many pictures of her on Instagram. So if you want to go check out Scar, you can most definitely do that. And then things I was grateful for March was bonding with family, swimming in the fucking rain. That was elite. I had a moment in the pool with someone while it rained. That was a main character moment. And then I had someone think I was into girls, which is interesting. I mean, I do flirt with people. I don't, like, I'm very kind and I compliment women a lot. I don't do that with men because obviously insanity. But I don't know. It was like, really? Am I into the girlies? I don't know. But jokes aside, that was a very surreal moment. And I was like, you need to tone down the compliments. But yeah, the vibes were vibing. And I was like, wow, I need to tone down the compliments. But I just can't stop complimenting people, especially women. I find it very beautiful when someone owns who they are, whether it's a hairstyle or an outfit. I always tell people, if I like something, I say it, because as I always say, there's too much hate in this mother freaking world, and we need to give more love. But yeah, that's a wrap on March. Let's dive into April. April. Okay, I'm gonna go in with the pictures and then dive into the things I'm grateful for. Pictures. I had so many pictures of family, and it actually warmed my heart going through my April photos on my phone. And then we had a family trip, and this was the first one I had attended since leaving freaking 2017. No, really, as in, you go to Mombasa every year, but this was a new place that we've been to, Naivasha. It's a town in Kenya, and it was such a gorgeous place, full of nature. The food was delicious. I absolutely dream of that food till now. Kind of crazy. Funny thing that happened, we went on a boat ride with the family, my mom, my dad, and my brothers. We went on a boat ride with the family, my mom, my dad, and my brothers. And getting off the boat, I was the last one. So my mom went off, my dad went off, my brothers went off, and they were helping my younger brothers. And then I was the last one, and I actually fell off the boat. And everybody turned around like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, can we act like that didn't happen? Because why are you asking me if I'm okay and I'm not okay? I don't know, it was like, you know, when you fall down and you want everyone to forget about it, but you're in pain, and everyone's like, are you okay? Do you need any help? I'm like, you can't help me with anything because my leg is on fire. But hey, that was a funny experience, and it was fun remembering that while looking at the photos. But the scenery of this place was insane, and then there was a painting space, so gorgeous. Definitely a must-go place if you're in Kenya. I'll add it to the Kenyan episode I do, things to do in Nairobi or Kenya, I suppose. And then another exciting, I don't know if this is exciting, but someone who I was with came to Kenya, and I haven't seen this person in 10 years. So that was some tea. Like I said, very relationship-based year. And then I tried pineapple Minute Maid for the first time, and I love that. I'm such a huge Apple Minute Maid fan, as you guys can probably tell on the podcast and all these different episodes I've done and on my Instagram stories on the podcast. But one time this year, actually, I don't remember which month it was. I think it was February. I posted a picture of Apple Minute Maid on my story, and Minute Maid reached out and they wanted to use my photo as an ad for them. And I was like, really? Wow, I am honored. Sponsorship pending? Who knows? But yeah, the pineapple one was also as delicious. I'm a pineapple girly. It's one of my favorite fruits. Okay, what else happened? I got so sick with the flu this month. And it's funny because it's the first month that I got a proper horrible flu. I'm grateful I don't get sick often, but when I get the flu, it's kind of horrendous and crazy. And then I met up with the guy I was with. We'll call him Cactus Guy. And that was interesting. And then April was done. It was kind of a daisy month towards the end. Things I'm grateful for this April month was, did I say August? I think I said April. Whoa, my tummy is tummying right now. I need to go have a cup of tea or something. But things I'm grateful for April is, wow. I don't know if you guys can hear my tummy. Whoa, what is going on? Let me sit in a different position. Okay, I've been enjoying my gap year this year. I think I was really grateful for being with family and bonding with people more. I was grateful for my love of sushi. I had sushi again this month. Deliciousness. And then I was also grateful for meeting my ex after not seeing him for a hot minute. I think it gave us closure, and that's all I'll say on that. And then health-wise, I'm grateful I survived the freaking flu because it was killing me. Insane. I was also grateful for the family trip we had. It was pretty fun, and being in nature and with family, and it was such a relaxing moment because my parents work really hard, and having them just relax and be was refreshing. We had a funny moment where me and my brother were putting in luggage in my dad's car, and I told my brother I can do it by myself, but he wouldn't listen to me. So we locked the key in the car. He helped me put the suitcases in because he has to be this guy, such a guy. He's like, I can't let you do things by yourself. I'm like, bruh, this is when I need to let things go, or like when I'm in a zone or a funk, I need to like move my body. So doing the luggage was perfect. But no, he wouldn't let me have that. So he was doing it, I was doing it. We both closed car doors at the same time, and then bam. It was a whole situation, getting the cars together, and my dad looked at me. And it's been like my dad has never really been angry at me because I'm, I never do things that make him angry or upset, but he didn't even know how to react. It was like, huh? What? But that was a funny, insane moment looking back on it. But it was a fun moment to think of. And then driving. I think I did a lot of driving this month, which was pretty cool. I did not have my license in Kenya, but you know the vibes. It was pretty cool. And that was April. May. I'll start with pictures and then dive into things I'm grateful for. Pictures. I promised my brothers I will drive them sometime soon, and they did not believe me because I was learned how to drive the manual car in Kericho, and I have a picture of them actually us doing like a pinky promise, and their faces shooketh. So that's a fun memory. I met up with a few high school friends, and I love it. This one person specifically, her name is Daisy. Shout out to you. I was speaking to you this week actually. She was friends with a few of my friends from high school. Me and my friends did GCSEs together, and then I left for the UK, and they proceeded to do the A-levels there. And our friend Daisy joined in A-levels, so she knew of me because they would bring me up and we were close friends at the time, but she didn't know me, like she'd never seen me before. She just seen me via Instagram. And we met in person for the first time this year, which was pretty cool and fun. We were supposed to meet in 2021, but that didn't happen. And then we met in 2023, which is pretty cool. We went and had sushi. Me and her are sushi lovers, which is another fun moment. And she gave me the biggest compliment, one of the best compliments I've ever received, where she said, "The way I come across on social media is the same as I am in person." And if you're listening to this and you're a millennial or someone who doesn't use social media frequently, I know my aunt who's a millennial was like, "You Gen Zers and young kids, how is that even a compliment?" I'm like, listen, people can be really fake on the internet and not be themselves and have this different persona. And I pride myself on being authentic and goofy and raw on there and just myself. So that was a fun, amazing moment. Another amazing thing, other than the most sushi I had, was, as I said, I go into my fits this year. I kind of figured out what kind of hats I like, shoes, discovering I can embrace both my feminine and tomboyish side, which is pretty cool. I also go into makeup too, a lot in May. I found what suits my face and what I'm comfortable with. Well, I experimented quite a bit. My mom was like, whoa, this is interesting. But yeah, and then my aunt surprised us all and announced she's getting married, the one who came to Kenya, as a surprise. So that was fun and insane. I was her bridesmaid, so it was amazing. I was the only bridesmaid, by the way. And she said I was the best bridesmaid ever. Who needs 5 bridesmaids when you can have me? That was a fun moment. And I have so many beautiful, amazing memories with that. So that was pretty cool. She surprised me and gave me dragon fruit for the first time. Are you kidding me? I kept seeing dragon fruit on my Instagram explore page, and I was like, I need to try this fruit. And I tried it, and it's up there. I think it's my favorite fruit. And a few people who I'd give it to try, they were like, it doesn't taste like anything. I'm like, I know, but the more you have it, the more flavor it has. So it's one of them fruits. If you have never tried dragon fruit, go buy it. It's gorgeous. I had it in Nairobi. I don't even know where she got it because they can be a bit pricey. But I was like, thank you. I appreciate this. And then another fun thing that happened, extremely, extremely fun, was I had matcha. And I found a place in Nairobi that sells matcha coffee. And I was like, are you kidding me? I've been looking for this for ages. I had matcha for the first time in 2021. In 2022, sorry. Yeah, I had matcha for the first time in 2022 in Dubai. I was there for 2 weeks. And the first time I had matcha, it made me diarrhea for quite a bit, but I found it so delicious. I had it again. I was like, maybe it's the first time, but no, every time I have matcha, it makes my stomach kind of go crazy, but it's delicious and it gives me energy. More on matcha in a bit, but yeah, that was pretty fun. And then I ended the month of May with the most delicious soup from my uncle, the one who I spent my time with in Kericho. And I dream about that soup. I'm like, I need him to tell me the recipe because deliciousness. Okay, things I'm grateful for this month: being a bridesmaid, really bonded with my aunt and felt magical those weeks. Having dragon fruit for the same time, obsessed. And then being ballsy and having frank conversations that altered my life, man. Sometimes you just have to be gutsy and do it for the plot. And believe good things are going to happen and come your way. So that was something I'm extremely grateful for. And then I also did boxing for the first time in May, and I freaking loved it. And of course, I was grateful for matcha. And that's a wrap on May. Let's dive into June. June pictures. I had so many cute pictures with me and my younger brother, specifically my first one, but my other brothers too. So my brothers go to the same school I went to. I did my GCSEs in Nairobi, and I bumped into someone who I have not seen since 2017. Are you kidding me? That was so freaking surreal, and pretty cool. It was like a, oh my god, we're grown, we're adults, young adults type moment. I also had so many cinema moments. Cinema is one of the best places. I love being in this entire universe. There's few places in this world I really love being in. Planes are one of them. I love the feeling of being in a plane, and I also love the cinema. At the cinema in June, I watched Spider-Man. The ending was kind of messy. Spider-Man, the animation, yeah, it was kind of messy. But I'm like, why did he end this way? Excuse me. And everyone I've talked about the movie agrees. Another thing that happened in June is my friend Daisy, the one who I met this year, her brother was getting married and she invited me to her brother's wedding. So I went there. I borrowed a dress from a cousin of mine, and this dress was so gorgeous that when I wore it, people kept telling me I look like Princess Tiana from Princess and the Frog. Like, excuse me? I've been talking about Princess Tiana a lot this week, but man oh man, don't I have a beautiful story for you guys. So I feel like a broken record because I've said this all week, but you guys are listening to this for the first time. When I was 9 years old, when Princess and the Frog came out, I was in Kericho with my grandparents, and we went into the supermarket. Oh, is my phone ringing? It's a message. We went into the supermarket, one called Tuskys at the time, and I begged my grandparents, I'm like, please, let's buy this movie and watch it together. I was a kid, and they agreed, to my surprise. My grandmother is a bit strict. We went that night, sat down, watched Princess and the Frog, and my grandmother kept being like, why is she kissing a frog? That's disgusting. She was the first ever black princess, and it was amazing to me because I was such a Disney fan. Talk about Hannah Montana, Camp Rock, Wizards of Waverly Place. Like, that was my jam. Sorry, I'm shouting. That was my jam when that was going on. So, of course, I was so excited with Princess Tiana. Another movie from Disney I love is Let It Shine. But that's not, animation. Let me put it that way. But yeah, I remember being a kid and thinking, I can act, I can sing, I look like Princess Tiana. Maybe I could be her. So this year in June, when I wore that dress, kind of solidified the idea more and more. I was like, wow, maybe this could be me. Maybe I could act the real life, the live action version of Princess Tiana, Princess and the Frog. And I don't know how that would make sense looking back because she kisses a frog. I think it's going to be one of those Disney movies that just remain animation, because I don't know how the logistics of it being a live action is. But it was so interesting to me because Little Mermaid, the actor who acted that is Hailey, she's my age. And then Snow White, just coming out in 2024, Rachel is also my age, and they're Latina and black. And I was like, this is also Yara Shahidi, who acted Tinkerbell, is also my age. They're just a few months older than me, all of them. But I was like, wow, this is insane. Like, could I be? Who knows? I don't know. I don't know how that's going to work, as I said, logistically, but that was a dream of mine I had up until December this year. So yeah, enough with this story. I'll keep it moving because June is getting kind of long. The next thing I had on June that was amazing, or pictures, was my birthday. I was actually dying in bed for my birthday with a flu, the second flu I got ever. And I genuinely, like, my parents thought I had COVID and they had to sing happy birthday outside my bedroom door, which is so sweet of them. And I'm grateful for that. A few days later, I was feeling kind of better. And one of my friends, shout out to you, Chide, if you're listening, he took me to my first Kenyan match, a football match, and his cousin was playing for the team, and I made a joke saying that the other team is gonna win, and they did, and he wanted to kill me. But he was like, I'm not taking you to the next match. And I was like, listen, I have a thing with betting. When I say things in matches, they happen. If betting was allowed religiously, I would be a rich woman. Okay. But it was really sweet of him to take me there. We had fun. He actually paid for the VIP. I was like, bruh, seriously? Don't you think? And he's like, no. He's like, you cannot go stand on the other side. I'm like, why? And that was the semi-final. So the final was a team called Gor Mahia and another team. And I was like, we have to go for this match. And he goes, there's no way I'm taking you. You're too like timid. I was like, bruh, seriously? Not you too? I'm trying to shake off this British mzungu, like someone, like a foreign person's perception people have of me. I'm like, listen, I'm from Kericho, I'm from Nairobi, feel the vibes, yo. But no, people still treat me like I'm a foreigner and a timid person. But hey, it kind of stopped this year, which is kind of fun. But yeah, that was a really sweet thing my friend did. And then for my birthday, another fun, amazing thing, a few days later, my friends surprised me. Shout out to you, Samira and Munira. They came over and bought me Minute Maid, Apple Minute Maid, and then they got me books and flowers and my heart and white chocolate, and my heart was bursting with joy. And my mom said, you would literally marry anyone who gives you Apple Minute Maid, books, and white chocolate. I'm like, yeah, my friends know me, okay? What was I grateful for June, other than all those things I mentioned existing? That was something I was really grateful for. Alright, people, July. I'm going to start with pictures. I did a lot of knitting this month. Knitting was one of the themes I had for this year. I'm going to talk about the themes I had at the end. I should have said in the beginning, but hey ho. Knitting, a lot of knitting happened. And then go-karting. I did this again with my dad and brother, and we actually did a competition. I won one race, my brother won one race, but I had a faulty car, okay? So I blame it on. And my dad and my brother were like, freaking fucking excuses. I'm like, listen, you guys know I'm good at this. Stop. If this was Mercedes or like what's the other team that does this, Red Bull, or all these different types of cars, I would definitely be the best here. Okay, it's just the car qualities are not quality. It's not quality, okay? And it was a hilarious moment, but we had a fun go-karting moment with my dad and brother. And then this was my cycling era. I was hardcore cycling, like insane, and editing the podcast too, because I was doing weekly episodes. I decided to do weekly episodes for a couple of months, which was kind of crazy, but fun. And I also did the 75-day challenge with an aunt of mine, and the prize was sushi, and I won that shit. Well, like, whoever loses or whoever does less than 75 days buys the other person sushi. And you bet your ass off I got my sushi. I did actually the challenge on Instagram to hold myself accountable. I would post every day what I'm doing, and I think I'm going to do that next year again, because listen, we're getting my uncle on the podcast. So that was fun. And then I had another cinema moment. I can't remember what I watched. I think, it was Barbie. I definitely watched Barbie, which was fun. What was I grateful for July? My health. I was so happy I got to do the 75-day challenge and move my body, prioritizing it. I did loads of walks, workouts, and cycling. I think cycling, I got my bike from my uncle, the one who I did the fitness deal with. Oh God, I'm mentioning them a lot, but they were part of my year, I suppose. So yeah, I got his bike from him and cycled like an insane human being. Those points. So the house where we live in, it's an estate, and there's like a hilly area, and it's like an oval. It's huge, and I would just go around each night and do different laps, especially at night, maybe 7 p.m., 8 p.m. when there are no cars, no people, darkness, just the lamps around the estate, and cycle like crazy. I have a cycling playlist. I'm gonna link it down below. It's also a nice workout playlist, but with cycling, the tempo was just right, which is fun. Let me make a note here of add cycling playlist to the what is it called? Cycling playlist to the description. Another thing I was grateful for in July was I'm grateful for people who wanted the best for me and who would check me, whether as annoying as they got. And this is a special shout out to my grandmother for wanting the best for me and always pushing me and having high ass expectations. Thank you. I love you. As annoying as it was in the moment, I'm grateful that she is pushing me and wants the best for me. I was telling my brother this morning, actually, because my grandmother went to stay with my brother and my family for a bit, because the maids had gone home for Christmas, and she made my brother clean the whole house. I was like, listen, clapping, because she's a real one. I'm like, now she has to get my younger brothers to get into that groove, because now my brother he can do all the housework and is self-sustainable. And I love that, because I like how she treats me and my brother the same in that way. Obviously, she expects me to know more in terms of housework and work. She's traditional, but you get what I mean. Another thing I was grateful for is understanding that there's good and goodbye in different situations. It doesn't matter if you've known someone however long, even if it's 10 years, bro. Keep it moving. Another thing I was grateful for is being self-aware and not wallowing in self-pity and toxicity. I dipped into this slightly, and I'm human, okay? It happens. That was July. August was an interesting month. I'm going to start with pictures. I was in my K-drama era. This year. I actually did a podcast on K-dramas. Gonna link it down below. I watched one of the most amazing K-dramas called King of the Land. If you're new and haven't seen K-dramas before, you should start with King of the Land. It's really nice. I love that I got to watch this when it first came out. I was literally watching it week after week, waiting for Netflix to release episodes. It was amazing. If you don't have Netflix, I will link another link you can use down below. Thank me later. I love you. Be a beautiful alien. Anything for you guys. And then I had a lot of family moments. We went to Naivasha again, this time without my mom because she was in London. But we missed her, but we had fun. And the food wasn't the same. The food did not hit. But I really enjoyed. I think I slept a lot during this trip, I'm not gonna lie. So that was fun. And I swam with my brothers, which was pretty cool. We also did a lot of cycling. They have a cycling place in this, the resort we were staying at. I had sushi, which was amazing again. As you can tell, this year was a sushi era. I also did my first acting audition. I don't think I got the role because I haven't heard back from them, but they actually want me to do more, what's the word? Kind of like advertising, marketing. They want me to do more of that for them, like commercials. Yes, that's what it is. They want me to do commercials for them. But unfortunately, I was leaving Kenya, so I couldn't do that. So maybe when I go back, that will be interesting. And then while I was acting that night, doing my audition, we had a nation blackout. Insane. And I saw a guitar and I was like, I have to. Guitar has been on my vision board. Learning how to play the guitar has been on my vision board for ages. I was like, let me just borrow this guitar. One string was broken, but I played it. Went home with it. My dad and my brothers were like, you're fucking insane. I'm like, I know. But I played the guitar and it was really cool. I think I'm going to get a guitar soon. That's going to be fun. So yeah, that's pictures in general. Things I'm grateful for is this month I did. So as I said, when I'm journaling, I do like every day what I'm grateful for. And this month I did every single day. This month from January to July, I did every day what I'm grateful for. And then the next few months, I kind of dipped and didn't do it as much because I wasn't mentally in a good space. But I'm grateful I was in a really mentally good space in July. And then I was so grateful for nature and evening walks. I did more of that this month. Seeing the moon, the sunset, the stars, and doing this with my brother, which was, again, fun. There were different parts of the year where I wasn't in Nairobi, so I couldn't do this with him. And then watching action movies with my dad. We did this a lot before I left Kenya in 2017. And it was so nostalgic and fun because we did this a lot growing up. And then I got a producing gig that did not work out, unfortunately, but I got to know that I have an interest in this in the future. And it was fun because I kind of got to know my worth and stand up for myself, which was a cool learning experience, even though it was tricky and slightly uncomfortable. But hey, big move. We gotta do what we gotta do. I also am grateful for the audition and experience I had, even though I didn't get the role either. It's something I've always wanted to do, acting. So who knows, maybe in the future. And then this month I'm grateful I had a lot of female interactions, whether it was friends, my aunties, just women in my life, my grandmother, my mom. We had, oh no, not my mom. My mom was in London at the time, but like different other women in my life, where we had pizza night, we had music nights, I had nights just vibing and chilling, doing quizzes, enjoying ourselves, all these different things. It was pretty cool if you think about it. Whoa, another text just came through. 1 second, I'll finish this and respond. So we had feminine attractions, and then it was just a wholesome month. Exciting things with loved ones. I really loved August. As Taylor Swift says, it slipped away like a bottle of wine because it was never mine. Go listen to the song August by Taylor Swift. It's a pretty cool song. Okay, I'm gonna respond to this text and come back and talk about September. Okay guys, I am back. September. This was a daisy month. When I say daisy, I mean mentally I was not in the best place. With pictures, I had a cousin of mine come to Nairobi, and I hadn't seen her since 2022, weirdly enough. Well, that was the last time I was in London, 2022. And I went to her house for the first time since she got married, which was 2020. And then I was in Manchester. I came to Nairobi. Well, I was in Manchester, then I went to London in 2021. But I don't know why I didn't go to her place. I can't remember exactly why. And then I came back here. She was moving houses, and then I went to her place for the first time in 2022. Long story short, I hadn't seen her in a minute, like about a year and some months, literally from February 2022 until September 2023. And she's one of the people in my life who I'm really close with. Fun fact, I wanted to start the podcast with her. Cassandra, if you're freaking listening, you idiot. It sucks that I'm not doing this with you, but maybe I'll have you as a freaking guest one day. Who knows? I love her to bits. I love you to bits if you're listening. I don't know. She's someone who is the relationship we have very similar life experiences. We understand each other, but we're very different. Our perception and how we see life is very different. So it's very insightful when I need advice on things and when she needs advice on things. It's a lovely balance we have. But she came to Kenya for a little bit, and we repeated our trip that we had in 2018, where we went to Malindi, where our grandmother stays. She has a beautiful villa in Malindi, Kenya. It's near Mombasa. And it was so gorgeous. And we went there again for the first time since 2018. And 2018 was the first time my cousin Cassandra came to Kenya. And it was insane to her being on a matatu for the first time. If you're an international listener, a matatu is like a van, a public transportation type of van or a bus, like a minibus. And that was pretty cool for her. So this year she came back with more knowledge. We had exciting escapades in Malindi and so many pictures. So that was pretty fun and cool. Things I'm grateful for September. This was a month where I was very hazy. I think from all the months, this is where my mental health started deteriorating a little bit. But I'm grateful for moments I could escape and be. I'm grateful I am alive and survived this month. I'm also grateful for being home and being in Nairobi and just being around family. That was really helpful. I'm also grateful for being in Malindi again and doing that trip all over with her. October 2023 pictures. I have so many pictures of family in October. I met two new friends, which is really fun. Both times I was going out to edit the podcast in a coffee shop, and that was really fun. I'm like, why am I meeting you guys when I'm about to leave Kenya? This is crazy. Shout out to you guys if you're listening. One friend actually wants to create more content online, and I was like, hey, I can help you with that. So I've been encouraging her and helping her, and it's made me realize I have a passion for consultancy, and I think I might do that or pursue that passion and see how it goes. Then my other friend that I bumped into, it was very fun because she's also from London, and it was an interesting seeing someone there who's from London for the first time, because I'm mixed, where I've lived in both places kind of equally, so I know both places really well. But that was pretty fun. She was there for the first time in since she was born. So that was pretty interesting. I actually did something I haven't done before, where I went to the Korean store with her. I have a reel on that on my Instagram coming up soon, which was fun. And then I saw Miss Taylor Swift in the cinemas watching the Eras tour. This was insane and amazing. I was supposed to watch this with one of my aunts, but she bailed on me, but it was fine. It was so amazing watching the Eras tour. I think I became such a huge Taylor Swift fan last year. My cousin, one of my friends was like, it's undeniable, you are a Swiftie. And I'm like, listen, there will be no reputation, there will be no explanation, just reputation, okay? Reputation made me a Swiftie. It made me appreciate her writing skills, her vision as an artist, her creativity. You need to respect it. She's legendary. Whether you like it or not, she's been in the industry for how many years? Since 2006, 2007, and she's just breaking records left, right, and center till now. I mean, who's done that, really, if you think about it? Who's been in the industry for this long? People take breaks, like Beyonce's taken breaks. And again, yesterday I was watching a video with one of my nieces, and I was telling her how we were watching the Who Runs the World Beyonce video behind the scenes, and I was telling her how none of the dancers could dance like these two twins who Beyonce got from Ghana, I believe. And it was really like how hardworking Beyonce is, the vision she has, the creativity, like a workaholic. Kind of like when you think of Ariana Grande and her music, like she's mentioned and you can feel it in her music, how she's very specific. She's a perfectionist. She wants things to go a certain way. And you feel that with Taylor Swift too. So I think all these different people, you feel their ethic and work ethic. But with Taylor Swift, I think as much as the media tries to tear her down or build her up and do all these different things, she's persevered and stuck to her vision and put the work in. You feel it, like when in her albums Folklore, which is one of my favorite albums, favorite albums, or Speak Now, where she did all the whole album by herself because people told her she couldn't write at the age of 18 or 19. It's insane. But anyway, I love the Eras tour and being in the cinema, seeing all these different guys just sing like Blank Space or Wildest Dreams. It was pretty amazing. I loved it. So that was a fun thing that happened. And then in October, I hibernated for 1 week with my cousin, and we were just bonding and watching this amazing K-drama that is up there. Like, I think it's my top 3 ever, called Guardian and the Lonely God. I'm going to link everything I mentioned in the description box down below so you can check it out. I had a health scare this month, which was pretty insane. Thank God I'm okay. And then I also bumped into a friend of mine who's my neighbor, and she was driving a car, and one of the last things I remember us talking about when I was 13 or 14 is I cannot wait to drive. So that was pretty fun seeing her in her car. My mom had a graduation at her school that she owned. She just let it go. My mom had a graduation at the school that she owned. She just let it go this year, but I'm definitely going to bring my mom on one day so she can talk about all the experiences she's had and how it was building a school and letting it go and everything that went in, because my madam director, is a phenomenal woman. And then the freelance gig came into action, the one that I got in August, and it didn't work out this month, but it's fine. What was I grateful for? I was grateful for moments with family, especially my Lebroski, who follows me, the second born in the family. He was away at boarding. He just graduated high school, but it was fun having him home and being there with me. He's one of the few humans who knows me fully, so that was fun. Hey, okay, November. It's funny because I was speaking about how grateful I am for my brother, and then he texted me. Oh, insane. We're just texting cars. I was sending him pictures of different cars I saw here in the UK, and he's like, send me more pictures, please, because he's a car fanatic. November. Pictures I have in November is, yeah, I left Kenya and I'm back in the UK. So that was an interesting thing. And then I had a flight situation in Turkey where my plane was cancelled, so I spent the night in Turkey, and I had so many interesting conversations with these two people, which was fascinating to me. The one guy, we ended up talking about marriage and relationships and just life in general, which was fascinating. And then I think November's been a good month, being away from home, being in a new environment, having a new routine. It was the fresh start I needed. What was I grateful for in November? I think I was grateful for making it through the month. Mentally, this is another low place for me. And I think I'm also really grateful for having the luxury to be in my fields. It's something people don't have the luxury of doing. And I'm so grateful that I could do this and just be blue, you know? And having the mental strength to tell people to fuck off, because that's needed sometimes. Last but not least, we have December. I did not take many pictures this month, but I've kind of been a homebody. What I was grateful for in December is family. I'm grateful for my cousin. I'm grateful for my family back home, just being with family. And I think I'm also grateful for things working out. I was in a phase where things were kind of up in the air, but things have settled. And I'm grateful for my current state. I'm grateful for my mentality, for my vision and how things are. So that was pretty cool. And then themes. This month's theme was a homebody. That's a wrap for every single thing I've kind of done this year, all the things I wanted to share with you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. So the highlights of the year I had was I took a gap year this year, and I think it was very much needed. I loved it. I lived in Kenya for the year, which was pretty fun. I haven't been home since 2017 and like late 2017, and I think I needed this. Being with family, being with people, my people. I love that. Acting, that was insane. I can't believe I actually did something I've dreamed of doing since I was a kid. The audition, it felt very professional, that whole experience. More on that in the future. Dating, I think this was an interesting one because there's so many relationship-y moments this year, which was fun. I had a mental health break. As you could tell, the last half of the year, my mental state wasn't the best, but it was fun being home was much needed for mental health. I think also fucking up. I had the grace of fucking up this year and giving myself grace. I always act and behave mature, and I find myself like never being the age I am. And I think I was like, you know what? I don't need to be perfect. I don't need to be the best at different things. I just need to be my age, and I'm allowed to fuck up and make mistakes and because the more I grow older, the more responsibility I have. I was talking to my cousin. This is kind of different, but it's more relationship. And I was like, I think next year, when my birthday comes around next year, that's the last time I can really be fucking around, if that makes sense. Not the actual act, but like messing up and fucking up. That's the last time I can do that, because it's all on me, man. There's no leniency. There's no grace. There's consequences for actions moving forward. But I think I really took time to just be this year, which I'm grateful for. And now I can get back into, the mature, being strict on myself kind of mindset. So that was fun. And I think another big highlight was finding my groove. I found my groove this year. I think, it was a very fluctuating year. Noticing my passions in different things, giving myself grace, and just being. So that's highlights for the year. Themes for the year I said this year were going for long walks, which I did a lot. Seeing the sunset. So I did this during my walks, and it was amazing. More of this next year, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. And then bike rides. I did that for sure. Forests, I wrote going to like a forest. There's a forest place in Nairobi called Karura Forest. I actually am disappointed I didn't get to go to this place, but next time I go to Kenya. And then I've never been. I know, crazy. If you're a listener who's been there before, I know, especially for someone who loves nature, how is that possible? I don't know. Reading, that was on my list. I kind of got into 3 or 4 books this year. Amazing books. I'll link them down below if you guys want to check it out. Knitting was another theme I had for this year, and I actually completed an item. I created a lampshade for my dad with different colors. So it was purple, brown, black, gray, light brown and dark brown. So teal is another color that was on there. It's different colors, but it's kind of cute. I'll add it to a photo carousel I'll do for this episode on Instagram. And then old movies. This was another theme I had, but I didn't do this year actually. I want to watch more old movies. Like a few I have on my list, like one I can think, Breakfast at Tiffany's, I think. Like more Audrey Hepburn, Elizabeth Monroe, stuff like that. Elizabeth Taylor? Wow, I'm mixing them up. But you know, old movies, that's something I want to do. And then family time. This is a huge one on my list. And I did this a lot. A lot of games with them, whether it's card games, Animal Kingdom, or just bonding with family. So this was fun. Okay, in this final segment of this episode, I'm going to be talking about my New Year's expectations or goals I've set for myself. I do not really do New Year resolutions. I kind of look at the different 7 aspects of my life and I set goals I want on these 7 aspects. And then I divide them up quarterly, whether it's January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. What? Hold on. Then I divide it up quarterly. So the first 4 months, Monday, January, February, March, April. And then the next 4 months, May, June, July, August. And then the next 4 months, what? Oh, it's 3 months, my bad. So it's January, February, March. And then the next 3, April, May, June. And then the next 3, July, August, September. And then November, December, October, November, December. And I look at how my life is going in different aspects and then I prioritize each. So whether it's health, finance, social, spiritual, career and relationships, and my mind and emotions. So that's how it works, because I feel like when you set yourself expectations or goals, some months your fitness is going to be better than other months. Sometimes your focus is your health, your career, whether it's your finances, like it all varies. So this is what works for me and you can try it out. But if you have a system that works for you, of course, this is just suggestions and what I think works. So under health, my goals are, I have a fitness goal I set with my uncle, as I said, on the 24th. And if I hit this goal next year, Christmas time, he's going to come on the podcast. I want to feel physically good. I want to get my hormones right. And I really want to hone in on my physical body. This is a huge one for my fitness. And obviously hit the fitness goal. Career-wise, I have set myself a few goals here, so I'm going to work hard and achieve them. Business-wise, however, I have some cool projects for the podcast. It's an exciting venture, so by the end of next year, when I do my 2024, let's talk about it, God willing, you guys will see the exciting things I have. I'll mention 2 things because I hope they will come true. I plan on having a team by the end of next year and maybe management. We shall see. Exciting stuff. The third area of my life is social. I want to have fun, you guys. I want to experience and I want to explore different hobbies, hone in the ones I enjoy. One that comes to mind is go-karting. I want to surround myself with people who are exciting, who are authentic, passionate, loving, vulnerable, caring, and of course, hella goofy, because those are my people. So yeah, I have also set myself core values that I live by and I want people around me to have. The ones I've mentioned are just a few. The fourth area of my life is spiritual. I am in a good place at the moment spiritually. I was lost for a second. When I say a second, I mean 2-3 years, but I'm grateful I am back. I want to incorporate more habits into my routine and I want to figure out why things are the way they are for certain things. And thankfully, the religion I am, allows me to do this and encourages me to do this. So that's an exciting thing. The fifth area is finances. I'm getting my coin this year, you guys. Whether it's I already have a job lined up for January. I didn't get the 2 jobs I mentioned, by the way, in the update episode. It did not work out, but it's fine. I think I needed to rest these few days before January kicks in. So definitely going to save up this year. I have a goal I want to hit. I want to save up for travel. There's 2 or 3 places I have my eye on, and it's the motivation and fire I need. I am actually visualizing myself recording in these different places. So who knows? I might be recording in your town since I have so many international listeners. It's insane and amazing. For you guys, I think under finances, one thing I would encourage you guys with this to do is whether you have a dream car you want to get, a house, an item you want. This can also be whether it's buying a designer item or clothes, if you know what I mean. This could also be an experience like traveling for me specifically, or like a bucket list experience that you want to do, whether it's ziplining, going to a new town in your place, just in your area, different things. Having financial goals under this is really encouraging, and it's all about finding something that symbolizes wealth and abundance for you. And this comes in different shapes and sizes. So have a think and see what works for you. The 6th area of my life is relationships. I think, as you guys could probably tell, there's been a theme of relationships in my life recently. So romantically, I have reflected a lot on my habits, both good and bad. I've reflected on my insecurities, my expectations, my core values. Above all, I am willing to give love a chance at this point in my life. I think there was a time where I was very closed off and just in my fields. I was like, listen, it's not happening. But thank goodness I'm in a good place where I have healed, and I understand there's only so much healing I can do by myself. I'm excited for the next person to come into my life. I'm ready to apply what I've learned and overcome my insecurities and actively be with someone, because we all have insecurities and things we're not good at and nervous about and anxious about. But yeah, I have heard people say there's only so much healing you can do when you're single. So when you're in a relationship, you get to explore and apply healing, and you grow with someone. So yeah, that's the vibe, you guys. With family and friends, I think I'm going to be, now that I'm away from them, I was joking with a friend of mine how I'm actually really good at being a long distance friend or family member, because the time I do have with family when I check in is very precious. So I check the most important things. How are they doing? How are they feeling? What can I do for them? What they can do for me. That sounds kind of transactional, but you know, how we show up in each other's lives and prioritizing the different relationships. That's huge for me. So yeah, I think I have that on lock right now. I do need to work on making phone calls and like maybe incorporate it into my calendar as a reminder, or plan different days to do this. But yeah, the 7th and the last area of my life is mind and emotions. I think this one fluctuates a lot, but in 2024, my word of the year is beast mode. Is beast mode, baby. I have this fire to achieve my goals and grind and put my head down and focus. This year, 2023, was such a comfort year for me. I think my word was like relaxation or something. I can't remember. I need to go back and look at the 2022 Let's Talk About It episode. But next year, 2024 is my Jordan year. And I'm excited about getting my attitude and my beliefs right, which is linked to mind and emotion. And of course, as we all know, and this is a reminder in case you've forgotten, our brain is such a powerful organ and we have to discipline it in order to get it right. So that's something to keep in mind. In terms of the podcast, I plan on expanding the podcast this year. I have many guests I want to bring on. A few I've booked. I'm going to be working on planning all this the next few weeks. And I want to explore topics with guests. I want to talk about topics I am passionate about, topics that I want to talk about topics that I am passionate about and explore and enlighten and educate people. I want this to be a safe space for people on the internet because I appreciate podcasts that were there for me like this during my teenage years. Like, is there such a thing as mid-teens? But like when I was like my late teens, 18, 19, yeah, late teens. I loved it, and I'm grateful that I can be there for people. I'm so grateful I can be there for people, and that's pretty cool. But yeah. I hope you guys get to reflect on your year and maybe use the methods I used. It was really refreshing and interesting to do this, looking at the photos and my journaling and reflect on my year. I also did Pinterest boards, but I didn't do it as much as I planned. So I plan on doing this more next year. So for each month, I'll be doing January 24, like themes I want for the year, and like visualizing it that way because I'm a visual creature and that helps me. Even with manifesting, visualizing things help me a lot. So I hope you guys take the methods I've tried. It could also be like social media, whether it's BeReal, something I used a lot this year. It could be Snapchat, it could be Locket, it could be those, or your camera roll, ways to document and enjoy and look back and reflect. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening this far. If you are listening on YouTube, because my podcast is up there, comment Beast Mode down below. Remember, if no one told you today, you are loved, you are worthy, you are on this universe for a reason. Bye, my beautiful aliens.